Yeah. Yeah. Guess who came back with a large fucking fist to eat the Brooklyn blast furnace? I brought your ugly bitch with me. Your shit is sus. Ain't nobody trying to hear you talk. When Jimmy's on the mic, they take your whack shit and turn it off. It's real life, not them stories that you punks say. He made it out alive, and he's relatively unscathed. So subscribe to the podcast and share the post and tell your stupid friends to do the same. You heard it here from Coast.
We're up. So this is. Hi, hey Mike.
Hey,
what's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Right.
I'm good. This is another episode of the Brooklyn Blast Furnace podcast. This is a weird one. Well, it's not a weird one. It's a very different one because this is the first one that's ever been done, I guess, live on my couch.
Yes.
With a guest.
I figured I'm a neighborhood guy, so I came, to the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
right? As they say.
Well, you're in Bay Ridge now.
Diker Heights, the little neighborhood next to Bay Ridge.
Yes.
People think it's Bay Ridge. It's Diker Heights. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's like down the block, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Mhm.
It was an $8 Uber basically to get here.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Nothing.
Well, I've been in this apartment for about 3 years. I'm taking my fucking slippers off.
There you go.
In my
Yeah.
apartment.
It's like the hardcore after hours.
Yes, that's what it is. But my apartment doesn't look very hardcore.
Mm-hmm. All good, all good. It's what's in your heart.
Yes, it's
In
what
the heart.
it is. But yeah, so I've been in this apartment for 3 years, and yeah, I dig it. I live on the third floor.
Uh-huh.
My building is super quiet.
Yeah.
My block is good. Everything is right up the block here. 24-hour everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously this is the first time you're in my apartment, and you could very well see that I made it very much my own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of core. I like it.
There's a lot of core.
A lot of core, some metal, a lot of horror.
Yes.
It's Mike's seal of approval.
Yeah, I kind of figured that you would dig it. I'm like, there's like grave dirt and all kinds of crazy shit in there from all the fucking exploring that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very much me, and I dig it. But yes, you said that you moved to, well, I guess Heights.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah. So you asked people, to come on the podcast. I'm like, of course, dude. You know what I realized? I think I met you. Dude, you realize I know you since like 1992?
Yeah. Sheepshead Bay. Yeah.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy. Yeah.
Ocean Avenue. I met a lot. I worked with Bebop, with John Lamacchia.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was 17.
Yeah. I was 19 or 18.
Uh-huh.
And me and my brothers would be in that Bagel Boy all the time.
Your brother Kevin,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
used to fucking come in all the time. He
Yeah.
used to get large coffees all the time, no sugar. I remember this stupid shit. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but I remember people's orders from 30 something years ago.
So by 92, John had moved. My brother John had moved in with
Sing a quick lament.
Yes.
For all the people that are in the know, but if you don't know, now you know.
You should know.
You should know.
Brooklyn hardcore.
Yes.
John moved in with Les, the singer of Patterns, in '92,
Yes.
and he wasn't living in Sheepshead Bay anymore. I guess he was in like Marine Park at that point.
Right.
But in '92, yeah, I was pretty much going to Bagel Boy nonstop, and John was one of my good buddies, still one of my good friends, and he worked there, so it was like, go see John, say hello, and that's pretty much when I met you.
Yeah, that was John was probably in Patterns at the time, maybe, and then after that was probably Dead Air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there was maybe something else, and then that turned into Candiria.
Right, exactly. This is his musical path. But at that point,
Yeah.
I was doing Confusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Product placement, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
This right here.
The discography on Generation Records.
Yes.
Storm the Walls, 1990, 1994. It's all of our recorded works dedicated to our old guitarist Frank Collins, who passed away in 2002.
Yes.
Yes, pick one of those up.
Generation Records, also a sponsor of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so go on Instagram and follow them at Generation Records, and they are located at 210 Thompson Street down in the West Village here in New York City.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Yes.
Hello, Ron Grimaldi.
That's right.
I always say that he's one of the remaining. He teleported from Spawn Ranch. It's like one of the Manson family members.
Possible.
I love Ron Grimaldi. Singer for That Cycle and a million other bands.
Known Ron a long time too.
Ron's a good dude.
But yeah, I mean, it's Brooklyn is really big, but Brooklyn's really small, right?
Very. Yes.
And a lot of the bands in the early '90s were friendly with one another for the most part.
Yeah.
And
a lot of incestuous too.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely. I mean, Confusion was around the time of Life of Agony and Merauder and Nobody's Perfect and Patterns and Lament, and it was just cool.
Minus Merauder.
Yeah. It's cool. Period of time.
Very cool period of time. Very fortunate. I think it was our mutual friend Grace, who I always loved. Grace was always the best. She was always fun to hang out with. And it was like a post on something. I think maybe I posted it. I think I was posting on the book group, and I posted something about the Limelight. And I wrote this whole big thing because I was in book mode when I was writing the whole thing. So I wrote like this whole story, whatever. And she commented, she was like, it's so, I think she used the word rad because she's out in California now. So she was saying something to the effect like, she feels so fortunate, it's so rad that we were in a very cool, unique time frame in New York City and Brooklyn that will never ever be duplicated, with all the club scene, with the Limelight, with this, with that, and everything way before cell phones and the whole shit. Now, of course, I'm going to sound like the grumpy old man, but I don't care. I am. I don't care.
Sound like a boomer, even though we're Gen Xers.
Yeah. Does that even make sense? Why you're a boomer? It's like it's wrong generation, dude.
It's because Generation X is so forgotten about. Right. We're called boomers. That's basically what it is.
Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
Because our parents are boomers.
Right. Exactly. Not us.
No, not us. We're Generation X.
It's also it's a blanket term. It's a blanket term for old and out of touch.
It is.
It's basically what it is. Of course. But yeah, man. I mean, look.
What a great.
We don't want to sound like tired old men.
No, we're not.
We're
absolutely not.
We're active in going to shows now. I'm active in music now. I have never stayed in one place musically. I have a whole bunch of shit I've done.
Yep.
But that particular time was very special. And it's just really interesting. Confusion played a show last fall at Brooklyn Monarch with a whole bunch of young bands because the label that put this out with Generation Days, it's a co-release with Days. They put together a festival with another younger label called Triple B, and all these young kids I met, I talked about how much they like Confusion, which is wild because they were not born when Confusion was an active band.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that was it. Just like we're just coming off of Black and Blue weekend.
Yeah.
And the first, it was a very memorable bowl for me personally. Like the first night, Agnostic Front celebrating 40 years of Victim in Pain and stuff like that, slap shot and all that. I mean, killed it,
amazing,
killed it. But were you there on Sunday?
No, I was not.
All right, so that was the huge difference. When I got there for doors both days, and there wasn't a line for the first day. I walked in, and it gradually got crowded, and it was a lot of more older people.
Correct.
Right. Dude, I got there for doors about 4:15. Doors were at 4 o'clock, I think, or 4:30. I was driving down the block, and there was a line around the block, and there was all these super young kids.
Right.
Which I was like, that's interesting. I don't know how this is going to be. But then again, I was like, this is kind of fucking cool. Because there's all these young kids that are going to the Black and Blue Bowl. So now there's like the next generation of kids.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I can't shit on them. I cannot, even though I would love to, you know what I mean? My old stupid self.
You can't. No.
I cannot, because let me tell you something. These fucking kids brought it. There was a couple of bands I was unfamiliar with. I have heard of them, but it takes a lot to impress me nowadays because I'm that guy.
Same.
I have the same fucking 35 records that I listen to, and that's pretty much it. But I mean, I've heard of Scowl, never seen them. I've heard of Drain, never really. A little bit here and there. I was like, I don't know, whatever. There was another big Conservative Military Image.
They're awesome. Yeah.
But on the other day, on Sunday, there was another band end it, who fucking killed it. But these kids for Scowl and everybody, I mean, even Terra and Madball, all these young kids were going crazy. And Drain, I was like, that's why all these kids are here.
Yeah, they're huge.
They are huge. And what's weird, dude, maybe because I'm a little out of touch with the newer stuff, and I admit to that. I don't really research like I used to, 95 things going on. But I had heard of them, and I was like, huh. First I saw the flyer, I'm like, Drain. I'm like, there's got to be a buzz about these guys because they're going on after Madball and Terra.
Yeah.
And I know they're a newer band. So, but once they went on, dude, I was like, bro, the place was packed wall to wall, to the back, side to side. Let's see. And they went on, it was like 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday.
After a full day of bands.
Yeah, I was
listened to
super
Drain
impressed.
for a couple of years already, and I've seen Scowl at the Monarch before.
Cool band, cool chick singer. I thought they were cool.
Yeah, for an old dude, I kept up with a good amount of modern hardcore because some of it I think is very good. I don't know if I like all of it. I like some of it, and I think Drain are an example of one of the better bands. Absolutely. There's another band I like a lot called Kubla Khan from Texas.
Okay. I've heard of them, not very clear, but
even bigger than Drain are. Actually, they play huge rooms and sell out huge shows, and yeah, there's good stuff out there. I mean, never let your age stop you from checking.
No, absolutely not.
I know you don't, and I don't.
I don't.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I guess maybe they get bored or I don't know, they get wrapped up in whatever else. But when I do have time, I do. So I keep up on ice. I look at flies. There's a whole bunch of big following for this one. But the whole point of why I brought this all up, I was talking with Jay Seltzer. You know Jay.
Yes.
Jay, the bus driver.
Yep.
And we were talking, I was like, there's so many fucking young kids. And he was like, I guarantee we both have gray hairs older than them. And I'm like, you know what? That's a funny ass statement, but you know what? That's fucking true. Because I started going gray. I had my first couple of gray hairs when I was like 24 or 25. I'm gonna be 49. You're damn right. I have gray hairs older than a lot of these kids in the room.
I mean, thankfully, when I was that age, I don't think I had any gray hair. The grays came much later. But,
right.
Look, I think the young hardcore scene is extremely healthy and vibrant.
Yep.
And they show up for the bands they like.
They fucking showed up.
The downside, I think, is that some of them don't seem to give a fuck about all bands at all. But you know what? I was having this conversation with Lenny from Fahrenheit 451 online about how, honestly, when I started going to shows in 1988, hardcore was, I don't know, 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't like bands from 5, 6 years prior either.
Right.
So maybe there's nothing wrong with a 22-year-old that doesn't like Negative Approach. It's old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Negative Approach is old.
No, Negative Approach is old.
Negative
Approach was an old band that I actually did like, but I preferred the bands of my day.
Right.
I preferred Youth of Today and Sick of It All.
Yes.
And Killing Time and Breakdown. I didn't really like Ragged Youth that much. I didn't like, the first
Control.
Right. Till later. Later.
Yes.
To me, the biggest bands of New York's first wave were the headliners in the second wave. AF,
yes.
Murphy's Law, Cro-Mags being the three biggest examples of first wave bands who by 88, they were playing in front of 1,000 people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I like them.
Sure.
But I didn't like some other friends of mine had played me some of the other bands from that era that were not as big.
Right.
And I didn't have a connection to it.
Right.
I had a connection to Youth Today.
Right. Me too.
So it makes sense that maybe not every young kid is over the moon for a hardcore band from 1989.
Right.
Because that's their parents.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Thankfully, some do like those bands.
Yes.
And it's funny, you bring up Madball and Terror. That's their old bands.
Yes.
Especially Terror.
Yeah.
Terror is like
fucking love that.
For the young kid, that's the God OG band.
Yes.
Because they're like a 22-year-old band.
Yeah.
Seriously, at this point.
I know.
Right?
I know.
It's hard to even imagine that, but they are.
Yeah.
And they've never
It's
stopped.
weird.
They've never stopped.
They've never stopped.
They've never put out whack shit.
Never.
Always kept up with, the times, took out good bands, took out bands that would blow up and then take them out. they are just like that band to a young hardcore kid.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, so it's cyclical.
It is. It is. But that's where my grumpy old man bullshit comes into play. but if you break it down like eloquently as you just did,
Yeah.
but you broke it down very smart and clear and concise, and it makes complete sense when you put it out like that.
But it's cool though, because say even a band like Killing Time, like the last time I saw them was when Confusion played with them. Definitely young kids have found Killing Time.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
which
happy.
makes me happy, yes.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
makes me
happy
very
for
happy.
that. Because I mean, Brightside. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, it's undeniable, right?
It's undeniable classic.
Exactly.
100%.
And like, another band that was like headlining the shows when I was getting my foot in the door was Leeway. Leeway were the headliner of Super Bowl III in January of '89. Because, Won't Expire had just come out.
Yeah.
But even before it had come out, they were doing phenomenal.
Was that your first Super Bowl?
My first Super Bowl, yes, not my first show. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Because my first Super Bowl was 5.
92, January 92.
January 92.
Okay, yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yep, yeah.
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 And then there's a couple of standout moments there. Because Breakdown played, and they did that instrumental March of the White Trash.
Yeah.
And I distinctly, I heard it 2 hours ago. Jeff yells, everybody kill each other. And they went into that and the fucking room. And I was just like, well, Jesus Christ. And that whole room, I remember that shit like it was yesterday, dude. But yeah, that was my first Super Bowl.
That was what the very early 90s were like.
Yes.
Honestly,
Black Train Jack Byrne.
it was a weird, but the hardcore end, it's funny you say everybody kill each other.
That's what he said. I'll never forget it.
In '93, Confusion played at City Gardens with Breakdown, and it was professionally soundboard recorded, and it's kind of made the rounds over the years. And right into one of the mosh parts, the singer Mike goes, "Fucking kill each other," and it was just. It was just something.
That was the energy of that was the attitude.
Early 90s,
yeah, fucking amazing. And then it got a little violent, and then things happened.
Right,
whatever,
exactly.
But we don't have to go into all that. But it cleaned itself up.
Yeah, in the mid '90s, I like to think of this New York hardcore rebirth that kind of kicks off in '95.
Yes.
In '96, when you have Coney Island High, CBGB's, and the Wetlands literally at the same time banging out hardcore shows, nonstop, and all these shows are packed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't New York was so healthy.
Yeah.
In between '95 and 2000, and people remember it. People my age remember. People who are there remember it. But New York City was just we never had that again. We never had 3 clubs booking hardcore shows,
we didn't.
And they all were packed. No way.
And you know what sucks? It doesn't suck. It's just life. For a large chunk of that, I was not around. I was in the Air Force, and then once I got out of the Air, there was a whole bunch of shit that went down. But because I joined in March of '96.
Okay, yeah.
And then I was gone. I didn't come back until 2000. So I missed. People talk about the Wetlands. I was at Coney Island High twice, dude.
Right, so okay. Oh, you caught a little bit. It's great.
Twice. I saw Leeway there.
Okay.
On I was walking down St. Mark's or something, and I saw Leeway, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I went in, and it was so that part. I hear all these things, and I'm like, I wish I could contribute a story. I was in Alaska or some shit.
That was the 4-piece era Leeway.
Yes.
That was the more post-hardcore Leeway. Yeah.
Yes, from Adult Crash and
Open Up Kids. Yeah. I saw all their shows then too, because they always played the hits too. They always played the bangers. But that was a cool time. I mean, that was when I
wasn't sure if I realized that Leeway headlined Super Bowl III.
They did.
No, I believe you.
That was the Born to Expire record release show in essence too, because it literally just come out that week before.
Right.
I remember I bought the cassette at Zigzag Records, which was this
awesome
record store.
Yeah.
You and Sheepshead Bay, and we all went, the whole Sheepshead Bay crew.
Of course, I was in there a lot. I was down in the city a lot too. I was second coming records with the Bobs, of course.
Yeah.
But But yeah, man, and the moment I found Leeway, which I've told this story a billion times, and you've probably heard it a million times, was when I went to Lemore's.
Suicidal.
Yeah,
I was like
White,
that,
White Zombie, Leeway, Suicidal. And I had heard of Leeway, I had seen him on flyers and all that stuff, but I had never heard a note. I don't know why. Because at that time I was a metalhead. You were a metalhead in the beginning, no?
Sure. Okay.
And then you
Thrash
found
metal,
all, yeah, thrash, yeah, me too. But plus I have like an older sister, so of course it's in the fucking ether. I heard all the hair metal bullshit and all that stuff. I grew up listening to that stuff in the house, you know, everything from the old Motley Crue to Twisted Sister. I mean, Motley Crue and Twisted Sister put me on the path to find the heavy shit and then eventually found hardcore.
It goes, you know, when for me personally, it was like heavy metal,
Yes.
thrash metal,
Yeah.
and then hardcore.
Same here.
And then I found death metal.
Yes,
I found
you did.
black metal.
Yes, you did.
And I carried it on with me.
Yes, you did. You
That's
do.
why
Yes.
it's in my life.
Yes. Yes, you do.
It's
Because you
funny,
post a
yeah.
lot of death metal and black
man,
metal.
I love it. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan, man. I mean,
Yeah.
decades and decades of all that stuff. And it's, you know, it kind of it just became something that really spoke to me at the time and,
Yeah.
and still kind of speaks to me. And now it's got the air of nostalgia that hardcore has at the same time too. It's like,
Okay. That makes
it's
sense.
like a time and place thing too. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I like so much shit.
I know you do. I know you do.
My girlfriend and I went to a New Age festival in California the other weekend, and I
So
love
you're
like
in
80s.
California.
Yeah, I
can't wait to get
love
there.
like 80s new
July.
wave, and I love, you know, gothic music, industrial music, and Elvis and the Doors and
Yeah.
Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen. I love music,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you're a music guy, and I am too.
And the good thing about being older is that you don't have to worry about any perception of you as,
No.
so he's not a hardcore kid. And I said, well, no, I'm a 50-year-old man.
Exactly.
It's no, like I'm everything. I'm
Yeah.
whatever you want me to be, and I'm
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
And I'm nothing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, come
Yeah.
on, grow up, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
grow up.
but here's the funny thing about that is that also the older you get, you don't really hear that much anymore. And I think that's how you know you've really become an adult. When none of your friends point that kind of shit out anymore.
Oh yeah, no,
Because it's just about the music.
It's
really
true.
just about the music,
Yeah.
honestly. Or it's about, you know, your love of your friends in that scene. Or
Yeah.
look, man, 36 years of this shit. Some of these people are like my family.
Yeah.
And they are like my brothers and
Of
my
course.
sisters. And, you know, I come from a big family. I have 4 brothers. And, you know, aside from that, music has given me a family. I mean,
yeah. And
Playing
all your
music.
brothers are involved in music.
except for Joe, the oldest. Yeah.
Right.
Everybody else is involved in one way or another.
Yes.
You know, John was in Lament and a band called Synthetic 16. Mark has shut down,
Shut down.
and Kevin's a show booker.
Yeah.
But Joe, the oldest, he's a show attendee.
All right.
He loves music, but he's no musical
All
aspirations.
right. Well, if he's attendee, he's contributing in that way.
Yeah,
Come to a
he's,
show every once in a while.
He goes to shows in Florida often, actually. When
Yeah.
AF and Sickle all come to town, and
That's awesome.
he goes to see them a lot, actually.
All right, so he contributes in his own little way.
Exactly.
Hey,
Hello, Joe.
Yeah. Hello. But yeah, man, it's a lot of it's nostalgia and shit too, man. Like I have very eclectic taste as well. It's like, you know, I'll listen to Morbid Angel fucking Altars of Madness, and then I'll throw on a White Zombie record, and then I'll throw on a fucking Jane's Addiction record,
Sure, yeah.
and then I'll fucking get crazy and put on like a fucking Neil Diamond or a Joe Cocker song.
Part of me thinks some of that might have something to do with coming up, being our age in the 90s, when honestly, it was this big musical stew in the underground. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and everything was kind of new and exciting. You know, like, look, hardcore and death metal came out of the 80s, but in the 90s, it's still a fairly new, it's newish music. It's
Sure,
still new.
100%.
And you have hardcore, death metal, black metal, industrial, gothic, and alternative,
Yeah.
and grunge, and all this shit. And it's all kind of coming at you.
Mhm.
And I wasn't the only one that liked a lot of different, like a lot of my friends liked
Yeah,
a
of
lot of
course.
it and hooked themselves into a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I think it had a lot to do with those times because it was just, look, man, it was irreplaceable era
Yeah.
in music.
And I didn't check it out yet, but I saw it's on like Paramount Plus or something. The Lollapalooza miniseries.
Yeah, documentary. Yeah, I want to check that out.
That's like a huge thing too, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many. I went to 2 Lollapaloozas,
Mhm.
93 and 94, and just everything was so eclectic. I mean, you have a Tribe Called Quest, you have Rage Against the Machine, you have fucking like all these. It's so much different shit. Primus, Alice in Chains, The Breeders, Smashing Pumpkins, George Clinton.
It was weird. Like
It was so weird. It's like,
look,
but we're all hanging out and we're all just taking all of this shit in.
I didn't find hardcore and punk through Nirvana, right? Because I was a little older and I got my toes wet real young, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people a little younger than me did find
Really?
real punk and hardcore via Nirvana somehow. And seeing the Teen Spirit
Territorial
video,
dissings.
and no, like the Bad Brains t-shirt in the Teen Spirit video, like not everybody knew who the Bad Brains were when they saw that. I did. I was listening for 3 years at that point.
Of course.
But not everybody was me.
Right.
So in a weird way, some of that was a gateway to hardcore.
Right.
There are kids younger
I have
who
examples of
had
that.
who knew metal was their gateway to death metal and hardcore.
All
That
right.
exists
Yeah.
because it's just where you're from and like how you came up, you know.
I found the Misfits through fucking Metallica. Cliff Burton t-shirt.
100%. Yeah.
It's like Cliff Burton's always wearing the who is this skull
So if we
t-shirt.
were a little older, listening to underground music, we might have already known that this was what.
Right.
We might not need Metallica. I needed Metallica because I was 13.
Yeah, me
and
too.
all they did was wear those shirts.
Yeah, I was like 11.
Right, exactly.
I'm 11. I listened to Live the Lightning,
Yeah.
and my mind was blown. And then it goes back to the era of you said cassettes. Like when I saw Leeway that first time, it was by accident. I was there to see Suicidal that night at Lemore's. The very next day, because I was living in Canarsie at the time, I went to Ciro's CD Cellar, right across the street from Bill DeC Junior High School, his second store. And I walked in there with my friend Tommy Mitchell, who I'm still friends with, known since 7th grade. I walked in there and I bought Born to Expire on cassette.
Oh, wow.
The same exact day. He was like, if you like this, you'll probably like this. And he sold me Agnostic Front, Liberty, and Justice.
Yeah.
2 very metal records,
Yeah.
which was the perfect segue bridge into finding hardcore. Because I started reading liner notes at Agnostic Front. I'm like, huh. And there was no internet, so I'm reading the liner notes, blah, blah. And then it's like, and then it was like the little thing also available on whatever records, and there's like Victim in Pain, Cause for Alarm, like on the record, or
Sure.
you know what I mean? So I'm like, Victim in Pain. Okay, now I'm gonna go by Victim. Now I went in reverse.
Yeah.
And then I found the old Agnostic, then I found the Cro-Mags, and then I found Sick of It All. And I'm like, sick of it all. And then I saw the Injustice System video on Headbangers Ball.
There you go.
And I was like, fuck. And that was it.
What happened to me was
I was in.
Metal took the big back seat, honestly, after getting these mixtapes from my friends who were skateboarders in Sheets Bay. And I was listening to like Anthrax and Slayer and Megadeth and Nuclear Assault.
Love all of them.
And I
Still
love
to
it
this-
now,
still
but
to
I
this
went
day.
through this very militant hardcore period where all that had to be thrown in the trash because it was just about straight edge and hardcore and fuck you and
Right.
my Champion sweatshirt and my X hand and CBGBs and fuck people with long hair
Right.
because I was an idiot 15-year-old
Of course.
militant kid.
Right.
That lasted about a year and change.
Yeah, okay. Listen, we were all stupid
Yes.
fucking kids. I was a giant fucking idiot.
Yeah,
I still am sort of, but it's okay.
but yeah, I
in
went
just
through
different
this
ways.
very strange metal hating period because hardcore was just so important and so
Yeah.
like, holy shit, this is the greatest music.
It
I've
fucking
ever heard.
grabbed you. It spoke to you, and you were in. And I get that, dude. Like that whole time frame. Man, we all used to grab the fucking Village Voice and look in the back.
Yeah.
Who's playing? Bro, there was times where I'd go to fucking 2 or 3 clubs in a night. It's like Murphy's Law's playing the Continental, but then fucking Sick of It All is playing the Limelight.
Hmm.
And then it's like, but then it's on a Sunday, and then like there was a show like a CBGB's matinee or whatever
Right.
earlier in the day. So you go into the city and you don't leave the city until after the Limelight at 4:00 in the morning on Sunday at the Rock and Roll Church. Like Testament, I saw Testament at the fucking Limelight. That's
That's cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
The Souls of Black tour.
Oh,
It
that's
was
90,
fuck-
that's it, that's 90.
It's
I
fucking insane.
saw, and I was senior high school, you know, kind of my metal flame was reigniting. You know, I'm still was in confusion, hardcore dude. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
long
went to-
hair though.
no, the hair was mid-length. It was
Okay.
that. It was that kind of William Zabka-ish hair because I was growing it out from like the flat top, and it was kind of like
William Zabka.
William Zabka, you know, from Karate Kid.
Yes.
I had a haircut that looked a lot like that, believe it or not.
Team
And
Johnny.
it was like the in-betweenish kind of hair. And I was listening to metal again because in like 90, you had like Judas Priest Painkiller I liked a lot.
I thought
And I
that was
liked
bad.
Megadeth Rust in Peace a lot.
Yeah,
And I was really liking from the year before Sepultura's Beneath the
of
Remains.
course.
I was loving South of Heaven from
Yeah.
a year, 2 years before, right?
Yeah.
And then in the summer of 90, I hear what is called proper death metal from Rick
side.
O'Brien and my friend John Zito. I hear like Obituary and Death, and I'm just like,
Slowly we
holy
rot.
fucking shit.
And what's
yeah, well, I heard Cause of Death, but I saw them at Lemoore with Sacred Reich in August of 91st. That was it. Done.
Really?
Done. I was just like, yep, I have new music I fucking love now. It's called
Yeah.
death metal.
Yeah.
I'm taking death metal with me. I
Yes.
took death metal with me.
Put it right in my pocket.
Yes,
Keep it moving.
and I was just like, holy fucking shit, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But what helped with that was the love of horror movies at that point. Because
Huge.
Obituary
Me too.
sounded like a horror movie. And
Dude.
the singer didn't really have real lyrics. John Party in like the
Bro.
first two records, the lyrics were not really formatted. It was like he's just kind of like screaming,
Yeah.
and it's just like these words, these like painful.
He sounds
screams
like
and,
he's in
yeah, it's like he's
agony.
dying, yes.
Sounds like he's dying.
And I loved it. I
Yes.
loved every minute of it. They had this wonderful promo shot of the five of them with nooses around their
Yeah.
neck. They had another one with them in caskets. and I'm just
Caskets.
like,
Yeah.
okay, let's
Yeah.
go. Obituary. I
Yeah.
love you, Obituary.
Yeah. If
That's
you
what
put-
did it.
If you want to clear out a room, if you're in a room with people who don't like music or like any kind of that stuff, put on the first fucking song and Cause of Death. You'll watch that and clear the fuck out. You put on Infected. That
What I heard,
it sounds
I heard
scary,
that,
bro.
When I heard it, you know what I heard? I heard stuff you could mosh to because there's a lot of stuff you can mosh
Oh,
to.
100%.
There's a lot of tribal beats. There's a lot of breakdowns on that record.
Yeah.
And on Slowly We Rot too. And
Yeah.
I went, oh my God, you can mosh to this.
Yeah.
Because that's all I cared about.
There was a fucking show that I went to at Lemoore's. It was the Earache Tour. It was, I don't remember the first band, but it was this band Cyclone Temple
Okay.
played, Nocturnus, Godflesh,
Napalm Death. I was
Napalm
at
Death. I was at that show
March of
too.
91. Yeah.
Yep.
I was
Insane,
Yeah.
bro.
Napalm Death was
Insane.
life changing too.
Yeah.
Life changing band.
I'm like, Godflesh was nuts. And I was very confused when Nocturnus came up. Because I did a podcast with Mike Browning.
The drummer sang.
Yeah, so I'm like, why is
Right,
there? There's a
right,
keyboard
yeah.
player, there's a guitarist, and a bass
yeah,
player, and a
yeah.
drummer, but someone singing. I'm like, and I see him. Oh, I was singing. I'm like, what? This is
So
fucking
we were at-
crazy.
I was at two of your very formative shows. I was at your first show,
Yeah.
and I was at that show too. Me and John.
Well, my first show
and
ever was Anthrax at Lemoore, Satan's Lounge Band.
Oh, in 89. Okay,
It
yeah.
was my
yeah.
first show ever. It was, you used to call Lemore's and you would get the recording of who's
The
playing.
Christmas time show.
It was December 19th or 16th.
Yeah,
Of 89.
that's good. Yeah, they did
State-
it every December. Yeah.
State Euphoria tour, and you called up, and at the time I was starting to collect vinyl, and I had gotten from Second Coming Records, I believe, it was the I Am the Law European import 12-inch single, and on the opposite side was two songs. One of them was called Buddy Love Bomb, and the other one was called Satan's Lounge Band. And they said that Satan's Lounge Band was playing. I'm like, that's fucking Anthrax
Yeah, they
Incognito.
did that a few Christmases in a row.
And I went there. That was my first show. They opened up with NFL.
Wow.
I'll never forget it.
I used to really love Anthrax.
Me
hardcore.
too.
Pretty hardcore. They were one of my big ones, but
Me too.
they had to be thrown in the pail though. By the time I got rid of them because Anthrax were you know.
They were fun. They were
No,
not so
like,
serious.
because
They would wear colorful surfer shorts.
it was because it was like it was just the time of like it was the tail end of the long hair versus short hair thing, which I think was kind of done in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
but this is like the real end of that era, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was
There were a lot of problems.
yeah, problems.
Yeah.
But those were like the final days of that. Those a little earlier on, I think maybe late 80s, that was a bigger problem.
Yeah.
but this is like the ass end of
There would
it.
be long hair kids scared to go to shows.
Right, exactly. That was not really the case come the 90s.
No.
But like, yeah, I think going to those shows, again, like in the crew that we had in Brooklyn, not everybody liked death metal, but they would go to the shows anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was Lamar.
And you
everybody just
go
went
hang out and just hang out with friends.
But I was super into it. I mean, then DSI's first record also
Incredible.
Inhuman's first record, like all of the classic bands are bands that I still love to this day. And I just like, I revere all those bands. And Confusion was fortunate enough to play Lamar in the early 90s with Cannibal Corpse, with DSI, with Cancer. Another band, Coney, who was on Roadrunner, we played with them, James Murphy's band, who was in Obituary. Death, and so that was fucking awesome. And then it was weird, like by the end of 94, 95, you could sense that like almost like proper, more traditional sounding hardcore was kind of making its waves again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
These things had gotten super duper metal. And Confusion was a product of the more metallic sound
Yes.
in the early 90s.
Yeah.
But then honestly, I was regarding Inhuman, I've always said this. I was partially influenced by my brother's band Shutdown.
Okay.
Because
That makes sense.
they took it back to the late 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took it back to like Gold
Yes.
and like, Youth Today and Side by Side in their own way with like kind of a 90s filter too.
Yeah, like a 90s twist.
And also like I was constantly at every Indecision show then too.
Right.
And initially Inhuman was going to
Was
be
it before
expected-
Tom?
Oh no, Tom's in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I met Tom and Justin in 93.
Okay.
Indecision's first show was opening for Confusion.
Gotcha.
So I met them a long time ago, actually. And initially, Inhuman was going to be almost a continuation sonically of Confusion. And then I changed my mind. I went, you know what? I don't want it to be this heavy band.
Right.
I want it to be hardcore.
Yeah.
Because I like my love of the shit that I had initially came up with had kind of been reignited, from going to shows again.
Mhm.
And then like going to all those Coney on High shows. Like I had the ideas for Inhuman, I had the name,
Right.
I had rips.
What was the name based on?
Oh wow, it was based on depression.
Was it?
Yeah, it was based on being.
Knowing that,
Yeah.
I could have sworn that you would say something like a horror movie reference.
No, it was based on like a mental state of being detached and feeling not like everybody else.
Okay.
Feeling inhuman, not human. And that's where it came from.
Makes sense.
But what's really wild is around that time I had started listening to reading a lot of Henry Miller stuff, right?
Okay.
And there's a whole thing in Tropic of Cancer that I read after I had the name all about being inhuman. And I thought it was like the most unbelievable thing ever. And I liked it so much that I put it as the sample on the very first Inhuman record, Evolver. You hear a portion of it on that record. It was I found the audio book of it.
Sick.
So that's what that's from. It's from Tropic of Cancer.
Okay.
Some people think the name came from Tropic of Cancer. It was just kind of a happy coincidence.
Right.
I had the name. I had the name in '94. Actually. I had the name at the tail end of Confusion.
Okay.
But I was reading a lot of Henry Miller stuff in my
Yeah.
early 20s. And then when I came across that, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is really wild. So
Nice.
I thought that was a nice, happy coincidence.
Yeah. So in human forms, you put out Evolver,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming you're playing all the rounds.
Yeah, oh yeah. We toured twice for Evolver, actually. One run we did was with All Out War and Blood for Blood. It was like this 5-day run. Yeah, it's great. It was great.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It was only like 5 shows, but it was awesome.
As soon as you say blood for blood, it's like, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, it was 1997 Blood for Blood,
Oh,
firing on all cylinders.
yeah.
They were great
100%.
guys though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, All Out War, I met the Confusion days. We did a bunch of shows together.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Mike Scores.
I was gonna say shout out to Mike Score.
92, I
Yeah.
think, 91.
You know what's crazy is that I actually booked All Out War to play one of my shows. It was one of the Blast Furnace barbecues at Lucky 13, which now Kevin Scondotto books for them. And I also had one of my last shows, except for the one that's coming up, because I haven't booked a show there in several years. So there was a special occasion, and a really special occasion that I'm coming out of retirement. But anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. But I got in touch with White Trash Rob, and he did a split Ramallah Blood for Blood set.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was just like, I can't believe, like how am I doing this? Like, how did I get like a lot of full circle? I take shit, like, I don't know, it sounds stupid, but I get like sentimental about certain shit because it's nostalgia, bro. You know what I mean? It's like it was the second veterans benefit that I did. I hit up Eddie. He was like, yeah, man, like I'll ask the guys. Next thing you know, it's like it's like I was standing off to the left on the stage at Lucky 13, and in my head, I'm like, this is the band that turned me on to hardcore. And I got them to play my show. Like it was just super full circle for me that it was like I was on the side of the stage with a shit-eating grin the whole time.
We Inhuman did 3 or 4 shows, like a long weekend or whatever, with Leeway in 2006, with the 5-piece Leeway, with Gibbons, like with the they came back, and our Inhuman's last show at CB's was with Leeway, because our last time playing CB's was June of 06, and it closed in September October of 06.
I think I was there.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah. Yes. I think so.
Yeah. Atlas Shrugged. Maximum Penalty.
Yes.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
That is my the mother of my daughter, my ex-wife Nikki, who I'm very cool with. She's a good friend of mine. That was her first and only time ever at CBGB's because she's a Jersey girl.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first time she was ever there.
Interesting, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my first, tying in from Leeway. So there's that tie.
Well, I kind of went off the rails because you said that you were doing a tour for the Evolver record you went out with.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, I
this way. We did all shows with Leeway, and all their formations and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the last time Inhuman played Lucky 13 was with Leeway for you. That was the last time.
We did play that show.
I've not played there since. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We tried to make it happen for this one, but we couldn't make it happen. So, but
I think I'll wind up doing more shows.
Yes, I mean, and
I think I will.
Inhuman's gonna play this year, so we're gonna make it happen.
Right, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have like I have the spark again.
I can see.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like it was never gone, but there was certain things that were kind of dumbing it down. Which I since have got rid of out of my life. So
that's how life works sometimes.
So I'm like back out there doing the shit that
we did a lot of shows for that first record in 97 and 98. 98 we did this run down East Coast, down Florida. And for a record on a small label, Eyeball Records at the time.
Eyeball Records.
Yeah. It got everywhere, that record.
Yeah.
And people still talk to me about how much they like that record.
Yeah.
I have a weird thing about that record in that I don't like my voice that much on that record because
it's very reminiscent to Lou, our friend from Scondotto, who hates the way he sounds on the first record. My favorite hardcore record, probably. Put a gun to my head. Blood, Sweat, No Tears might be my all-time favorite hardcore record. Lou is like, oh, I hate the way I sound.
I
get it.
I love his vocals on the 7-inch and that record too.
Yes.
But
Pete's guitar is ridiculous.
I felt like I was just kind of learning what to do, like on the demo. Like I really hate the Inhuman demo vocals. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
And if you listen close, my voice is almost blown out at the last song.
All right.
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Yes, right. On the other subsequent releases, I like my voice more and more. And honestly, like, my favorite ones are New Nightmare and Last Rites because I've been singing a long time at that point. I know exactly what to do. And
it's funny. Everyone, even like as you said, I didn't know what I was doing. It popped in my head because I recently watched it again for I don't know the 5th time. I rewatched it Godfathers of Hardcore, and there's a whole thing in there. And Roger is going through his trunk, and he pulls out this dirty T-shirt, and he pulls out an original 7-inch, and he pulls out a picture that's inside the 7-inch, and he makes a comment of how he's like, look at the way I'm holding the microphone. He's like,
Yeah.
hold the microphone. He's like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was insecure.
Hmm.
I was insecure. So it's like, Ron's is a fucking legend. And so everyone goes through that. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, you all start somewhere, bro.
There's no guidebook
No.
to be like in a band, making a record on like, indie level.
Right.
You just kind of go in and do it.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man.
You just kind of do it. And if you have a good engineer, which we did, oddly enough, the engineer and producer of our first two albums, Revolver and Rebellion, is Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses, Ron Thal.
That's insane.
Yes, isn't it?
Isn't
It is insane.
weird?
Ron Thal has studio in Bensonhurst back then. He was the guy. Us and Indecision recorded with him, and I believe might be one shutdown release with him, or like a promo or something. But we did stuff with him. Indecision did their record with him, and there had to be somebody else who did something with him from that era in time in Brooklyn. But yeah, he did our first two records, engineered and produced. Interesting. Huh?
Very interesting. I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
Ron Thal.
That's a little
Former
fucking
Guns N' Roses
snippet of information.
Guitarist, probably one of like the best, virtuoso guys like in the game. Yes,
Yeah, right. A little snippet of information that I was never privy to.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fucking cool.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then what'd you put out after that? Was it Rebellion?
The Rebellion was 99
Right.
on Exit Rec Age Records, which is the label Indecision was on.
Yes.
And then we did this EP called Black Rain.
REIGN.
Yes, on this Belgian label, Release Power Productions.
Uh-huh.
And then we did The New Nightmare on the now defunct AF Records, which was the band Anti-Flag's label.
Right.
And we recently got all the rights to that back.
Your personal favorite Inhuman record?
Yes, it is. 100%.
Right.
It is. There's not a moment on it I don't like. That's wrong. I
Okay.
like every song, and I think we put a lot into it, and it's well produced.
Yeah.
It's mixed well and mastered well, and I like my voice on it a lot. I do some different things on it with my voice that I like.
Yeah.
It's got cool samples on it.
Yeah.
It's got Dario Argento's World of Horror sample on
What
it.
do you need on the
It's got, it's got some cool shit on it. Yeah, we recently got all the rights to that back, so it came back out digitally April 19th on like Spotify and Apple and all that shit. So
Awesome.
So
get that shit.
yes, get
download
that now. And if you
stream
can,
that
if
shit.
you can find the vinyl version of that came out a while back, get that too.
You might be able to find it on Discogs now.
Yes. And then in 07, we were on Ice Cream Records. We put out the
Shout out to
last,
Lawrence.
yes, Last Rights record, which it's Inhuman's heaviest record. It's our heaviest
Last Rights.
record. Yeah,
I love that
100%.
record.
I love it too. It's
I
my
love
number two. It's my close number two.
It might be my favorite, and not disparaging anything else, but it might be my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone has a favorite.
Yes.
You know, of whatever band.
I think we also did some things on that, I think, differently that kind of paid off. Like I think the song "What You Wanted" is a great song,
It is.
and
It's very, it's different. Too.
yeah, very different.
It's different. You have like super fast, like like fucking like super heavy the
Mhm.
title track.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It's just slant. Wow, it's fucking awesome. And then you have a quicker song like The Dream's Not Dead.
yeah.
You know.
The thing is, I would love to see that record on vinyl, like next personally. But it's funny.
Make that shit happen.
I know. But I saw Vincent, who put out the first Inhuman record, Black and Blue Ball, and he's like, "You should get Evolver out on vinyl." I said, "Yeah, that would be nice too."
Yeah.
He's like, "Put that out on vinyl, man." He goes, "It's a
Why
great
not?
record." I said, "Yeah, I know. I mean, I would love for all these things to happen." You know
Yeah.
what I mean, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, you're a record collector guy. Like
Yeah.
you have, so
We'll see. I mean,
you need to have in where you live, you need a shrine to all of your shit that you've done.
sure, yeah. I
Everything,
mean,
70, everything.
the good thing with The Last Stand, all of our shit is on vinyl, which
Yeah.
is great. The
Mhm.
Last Stand is the band that was started in 2010 with the three guys in Shutdown, Jimmy,
Yes.
Steve, and Dion.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, since we came out in the 2010 teens, 20s era, everything we have is on vinyl.
Yeah.
Everything. So
Yeah, it's a little
nice.
odd, a little weird twist. Yeah.
Where Inhuman, almost nothing's on vinyl. Last Stand has almost everything.
Yes.
So,
And I'm on back on vocals
Yes.
on the EP.
which might be my favorite Last Stand, but this is really might be my
Yes.
favorite. Although I do love this puppy right here, which is our split with One Choice that came out a year or so ago on Irish Voodoo Records.
Irish Voodoo Records, which is also what the majority isn't all of the Last Stand stuff out on Irish Voodoo?
Everything except for the first album, which was on Eulogy Records.
Right.
The Time Is Now. Yeah.
Yes.
That also came out on vinyl too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this a lot. The recording came out great. The vinyl came out really good. We have a Minor Threat cover on here. I Don't Want to Hear It. It's Up to Us might be one of my favorite Last Stand songs ever. It's the first song on this puppy. Shout out to One Choice, my boy Vic from California.
Where can people buy it?
Rev HQ, Revelation Records,
Okay.
RevHQ.com or IrishVoodoo.com.
Yeah.
Irish Voodoo Records.
It's very fucking cool. And
Yeah.
thank you for bringing you came bearing gifts.
Yes.
I
yes.
appreciate that.
You gotta give gifts sometimes.
You do. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wind up going on Amazon because I ran out of record frames because you see all these fucking frames everywhere. I gotta get more, and those will grace the wall.
Yes. Great stuff on the wall, nice apartment.
Yeah,
But,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it sucks that Inhuman couldn't do the impending Eddie show.
Yeah, that's
But,
all right. Things
you know.
happen. Like I said, I already know that I wanted to fucking book the both shows. You know, Jeff and Lucky 13. I never had a falling out with those guys or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? All right, just I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, I never did it. You know, I did a lot of benefit shows. I never put a dime in my pocket. Veterans benefits, a 9/11 fucking cancer fucking people.
You
with
did
cancer.
one of our record release shows.
I
The
did a
Last
record
Stand.
release show with who was on that? Deb Hammer in Rage.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jeff and Rage.
Who else? Low Road.
Love that band.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Come back.
Kingdoms Crumble is such a fucking great fucking record. And shout out to all those guys, man. I saw those guys for the first time also by accident at one of Gutter Christ's Toxic Fests. And the first, I pilfered a couple of bands from that lineup for the first ever show that I did at Lucky 13. I pulled Full Scale Riot, and it was before Departed. It was Joe Stanley's band, Sicker Than Most.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I think I don't think Low Road played the first one. Low Road played the second. Yeah.
And it's funny at that last show Inhuman did for you at Lucky's.
That's right. I forgot about that. I booked about 30 shows.
I was wearing this awesome Typo Negative original long sleeve, right? That was like a blue grape shirt that I lost because I got so fucked up at that show.
You did.
I was having such a good time. Dude, I ended up at Coney Island Hospital's emergency room later that night.
Did you?
For what I thought was alcohol poisoning. Yeah, I was just like having the time of my life. Not one of my proudest nights, but what a fun night that was.
I never heard of the hospital boy.
Oh, yeah, the hospital bit. Yeah,
But I
amazing.
do. I remember once you mentioned your Typo Negative shirt.
Yeah.
I remember that you lost it.
Yeah, and there's some great pictures of me wearing it, and it is probably sitting in someone's home as we speak right now.
Or in a landfill.
Or in a landfill. Oh, and what's funny, it happened again. Last year, we did a show for my 50th birthday for Inhuman. We did this great show at Gold Sounds in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
I was wearing this awesome Exploited shirt, and Mike was having a bit of bubbly because it was his birthday. He was having a good time. And if you know me, you know I change my shirt when I'm done singing. And lost that fucking Exploited shirt.
God damn it.
Like 2 shirts I really like.
You need someone like to look out after your shirt. Like
I need a handler.
You need a handler.
Shirt
You
handler.
need a handler. Like, let me take this. I'm gonna go put it in the car, and I'll be right back, or whatever.
What 9.5 times out of 10, the shirt goes in the bag.
All right.
That thing never just didn't
It
happen.
just didn't happen. It slipped your mind. You were just too caught up
Having
in
a
the
good
moment.
time, man.
Yeah, man. These
Yeah.
things fucking happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did come out of retirement because we spoke a lot about him, but Eddie was a mutual friend of ours. Eddie is the reason, and he would apologize to me too, because I would tell I had him on twice on the podcast. He played for me and shit, but there was always times where Eddie had his issues. Everyone knows that. We don't have to get into that. I had my own personal issues as well, which everyone fucking knows, which whatever. But there would be times where, like my stint in the Air Force, like I wouldn't really talk to him. But then I would see him and it would like no time has passed. We'd exchange numbers again. Every once in a while I'd get a text from him, yo, what's up, B? Because that was Eddie. He used to call me the B or Pop all the time.
He's the original hardcore homeboy.
He is charismatic, so different from everyone. Got pipes on him. Yeah, so every once in a while, I just get a random phone call, a text message, whatever, and then we meet up at shows. Everything that I've ever did, from little stupid clothing lines to podcasts or whatever, he was always supportive. I always leeway. I'm not sure. I wish I could actually get an actual count, but it's one of 3 bands that I've seen the most in my life, especially during that time. It was either Leeway, Biohazard, or Life of Agony. I'm not sure, but all of them a ton of times. Every time Leeway played and someone else was playing, I'm going to the Leeway show.
It's funny, all 3 of those bands for me personally are high double digits bands.
Yes, 100%. They were like house bands for the most part sometimes.
And even in the last 15 years, the amount of times I've seen Sick of It All. Was one of my good friends. I've seen them so many times.
Yeah, I've seen Sick of It All.
You know what?
No, you know what? That's right. Sick of It All is up there too. Sick of It All is up there.
Every for me would be in that Type O Negative song.
I saw them a handful of times, not that many times, but I saw them several times. So, we all know at this point, Eddie passed away on April 19th. And I don't know, I was just like, I feel like I want to do something. And what can I do? Is it too late because he's gone for a GoFundMe or whatever? Of course it is.
Right.
But let's just put it out there. He was past the point where they knew that there was nothing. He was inoperable, and it was just a matter of time.
Sure.
So there was nothing I could do even when he was still here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. So let me just rack my brain. Let me just do something in honor of him and give all the proceeds. Get in touch with his family and give all the proceeds to his family for whatever reason. If they need it, they need it. If not, it's going towards something for Eddie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, so I'm gonna do it. So I started reaching out. First person I called up was Jeff, the owner of Lucky 13, thinking about doing this. He's like, sure. He's like, now I didn't know at the time that Kevin was doing shows for them.
Right.
He's like, here's Kevin's number, blah, blah, blah. I'll let him know that you're gonna get in touch with him. You talk amongst yourselves. It took 10 minutes on the phone with your brother.
Sure.
I already had a few dates. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, this is what we want to do. 10 minutes on the phone with him. I was sitting on the edge of my bed talking to your brother about this whole thing. So I started reaching out to bands. The first band that was already confirmed is the band Fire is Murder, because Artie, the guitar player, Eddie lived with him for 3 years plus before he went into hospice. So
featuring Steve Gallo of Inhuman.
Yes, who I saw in Black and Blue.
He was drummer. Yes.
I saw him in Black and Blue, and that motherfucker, every time I see him, I just start laughing. He makes me laugh every time I see him.
He's great.
He's great.
Love you, Steve.
Yeah, love you, Steve. I put sesame seeds in my salad.
It's like a cartoon character.
He's absolutely he's a character.
Well, everyone in Inhuman is a cartoon.
Yes, 100%. There's a lot of we know a lot of characters. It's insane. So, all right, so this is at Lucky 13, 644 Sackett Street. It's a $20 donation at the door. It's unfortunately for some and not for others. It's a 21 and over show. It's not all ages for legal reasons, insurance reasons.
No, it's a bar.
It's a bar,
Yeah.
Sunday, June 23rd. Doors are at 3:00. The first band on is at 4. So from beginning to end, we have Jay Zeller's band Moment of Truth. Now, just to make this band's been around for a long time, and it's just something about the love, because I just coined it as For the Love of Eddie Leeway is the name of, I guess, like the benefit show. And Jay was telling me that a band member, they're going on first, they have a 20-minute set, and there's people coming from all the way upstate. There's even a guy that's in the band that's coming all the way from Colorado.
That's awesome.
To play first for 20 minutes. Because it's for Eddie.
Meaningful, yeah.
It's right there, like that's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
I reached out to Scott, Silence Equals Death is playing. They played several shows of mine, good bunch of guys, good band. And then I started reaching out to other people, and then somebody in another band that's playing was like, this band would definitely play. So I'm like, you know what, that's a really good fit. Because I didn't want heavy Cookie Monster beat down bands or anything. I didn't want that. So I got the Ice Cold Killers to play, which is a really cool fucking band.
Good Long Island Boys.
Good Long Island Boys.
Yeah.
You got Fire is Murder, and then we're doing a Leeway tribute set, which is basically, I can't say everything that's going to happen right now because a couple of things are up in the air. There's a lot of moving parts with it. Artie pretty much took the reins on it for the most part. But it's for the most part, it's the band that Eddie was playing with last.
The last lineup of
The last lineup of Leeway NYC, but there is going to be rotating guys playing instruments. A different guy, somebody might come up and have a guest fucking feature and do 2 or 3 songs. Another guy might come on and do 1 song.
Right.
A bass player might do 2 songs. Another bass player might do 3.
Understood.
And I think there's just going to be 1 drummer, possibly 2. We're working on something. And then there's going to be several different singers, which I won't say any of them, but we're working on some stuff and it could be potentially fucking ridiculous. I'll tell you off it. Then I reached out to Anthony Communal, the singer for Killing Time. And before he confirmed Killing Time, he was like, I would have to ask those guys first, see what's going on, but I would not be opposed to doing the first Token Entry 7-inch.
Yeah,
ready
he's
enough.
the singer on.
Which he's the singer on. So I went, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just threw that at me without even me asking. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. And he's like, it wouldn't even be long. It'd be like 15 minutes.
That's true, yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's
I've seen
fine.
him do that set. It's great.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, get back to me and see, what do you think the chances are that Killing Time will be able to do it? And he wrote me back. He was like, I would personally love to do it.
Okay.
The next day, confirmed.
Wow.
So Killing Time, Token Entry with a short little set,
That's
a
right.
Leeway tribute set, Fire is Murder, Ice Cold Killers, Silence Equals Death, and Moment of Truth.
Beautiful.
$20 at the door. We're making a run of 100 t-shirts that I designed, and I believe they're being made right now.
Nice.
Only available at the venue.
Yeah.
Standard cost like $25 for a t-shirt, standard cost or whatever. All the profits are going to Eddie's sisters.
Honestly, the door prices can't be beat. $20.
$20, dude.
$20 is 2 beers.
Yeah,
With a tip.
100%. $20, and you're seeing 7 bands.
Yeah.
And Killing Time is a fucking classic fucking hardcore band.
Killing Time Token Entry set alone is well worth the $20.
Yeah, 100%.
Well worth.
Well worth it. So, and you shake your ass and you get warmed up, and and then for Killing Time, it's gonna be
It's
crazy.
gonna be a good time.
It is. I'm gonna have. I mean, listen, this is a benefit show. You don't have to do anything, but there will be a donation bucket. I'm gonna have a couple of raffle packages. Jamie York, the photographer, he is going to blow up. He was talking to me. I'm gonna paraphrase what he said. He has a friend that works for the Guggenheim Museum, and he is going to give him the original negative to. There's a picture of Eddie he's crouched out in the middle of the street with his arms out, and he's going to give the original to this guy, and he's going to blow it up like legit super museum quality, and he's going to frame it museum quality, and that will be a part of a raffle package. So here's your tickets, I don't know how much they're gonna be, whatever, but it'll be like, I'm not gonna go crazy, like the veterans benefits, I had like 20 fucking packages together.
I remember that.
Yeah, Mike Gibbons gave me like a case of his solo CD. I'm throwing CDs out off the stage, hitting people in the head with jewel cases.
Right,
I don't want to do all that, but it's gonna be like 3 packages, one that's like, a couple of maybe a shirt, a couple of things here and there, and then there's going to be something else, and there's going to be like the grand big thing, which I know that there's going to be I can't say exactly what, but I was at a meeting with Eddie's sisters along with Artie, and there might be some handwritten lyrics from Leeway songs that Eddie wrote. Original handwritten lyrics. Eddie did make baseball cards of himself. And they're like legit baseball cards that are signed by him that he would sell. That there'll be a couple there. There's gonna be a lot of cool different things that we're trying to make happen. We're trying to think a little outside the box, different stuff, and it's basically come and hang out and at the end of the day, on the selfish part of me, it's not really selfish, but I want to be able at the end of the night be able to give them a nice amount of money and be like, I hope it helps. However it helps, I hope it helps. And I hope everybody had a good time. And at the end of the night, when I walk out, I just want to feel that I honored my friend Eddie the right way and respectfully, and then drive home listening to Leeway.
That's it. I think you will accomplish that mission.
Yeah, that's the whole goal.
You will. Mission will be accomplished.
Yeah, that's the goal, man.
Fucking A, I'll be there.
Yeah, I pretty much thought you would be.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be packed. So what I'm gonna say, people have been asking me, are there advance tickets? There's not. On purpose, there's
Stay at the
not.
door.
Right, pay, it's $20. I'm not taking Venmo. I'm
No,
not doing your cash app.
no. $20 cash.
$20 cash. You can give me 20 singles. I don't care.
20 seconds.
4 5s. I don't care. Don't start being a wise ass and come with rolls of quarters. Because some asshole on purpose will do that to be a funny guy. I'll still take it, but let's not do that.
Exactly.
But yeah, $20 at the door, and it's gonna be jam-packed. So get there early and support all of this. I mean, like I said, there's a guy coming from Colorado to play for 20 minutes for you for this thing.
Come on out.
If you live in fucking Sunset Park, you can make it to Lucky 13 by doors at 4. I mean,
True.
you know what I mean?
Hey, wasn't I
Yes.
the first guest on the Blast Furnace podcast?
Yes, you were. It was me. That's when me and Jeff and John were doing it together on the stage of Lucky 13.
That was
And
right.
it was you and my daughter.
Wow. Holy shit. What year was that?
That was 2016.
It was 620. Yeah, it was 2016. Okay.
2016.
First guest.
First guest.
And I'm back.
And you're back. Yeah, but you've been back since though.
Oh,
You and Dion did one.
yes, that is true.
Yes.
So this is my third time.
This is your third time.
This is wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Dion, when we were promoting
This
one
is
of the
real.
last stand
I
releases.
think maybe this is
Yeah, we
real.
were probably promoting that. Yes.
I believe so because
Okay.
because I used the cover of the album as a template for the flyer.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
The very first one, though, I think it was we just might have been talking trash. I don't know what we were talking about, right?
Because I didn't know. We didn't know
the format.
the
so to speak.
format, and the podcast came also like by accident.
Hmm.
Do you remember the story? I haven't told it in a long time, so
No.
I'll refresh.
But I remember you were a fan of my long-running Necromaniacs podcast.
Yes,
Which is still 11 years running to this day, every week, every Thursday.
there you
My
go.
horror podcast, Necromaniacs, with myself, Mike Hill of Tombs,
Yes,
and Jeff Kashid, formerly of the band ISIS.
nice.
Check that out.
That's right. And I was a patron at the Brooklyn Monster Factory.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah. And speaking of my daughter, one day I went in to go take a piss, I think, and my ex-wife was very pregnant with my daughter, and I came out of the bathroom, and Lou from Sycamore was in the store. He had walked in while I was in the bathroom, and Lou rubbed my wife's belly. He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was late 2000. It was early 2009.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that was late 2000 because she was
Okay.
very pregnant. So it
Yeah,
was late 2009.
Lou used to hang out at the store all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, those were good days.
Mhm.
Many moons ago, me and John Scondotto had a store in Park Slope called the Brooklyn Monster Factory.
Which I think was a great fucking name
And,
for a comic
yeah,
book
we had it
store.
for 4 years on 7th Avenue.
Yes.
Good times.
Yeah, man. So this podcast came to fruition because I had already booked a couple of shows at Lucky 13. And I had to give John Lamacchia, Bebop, Candiria, props because he's the one that gave me the spark to do a show. Because I was like, I never booked a show before. He's like, dude, you could do it. You know people, I know people. We could fucking you could reach out. I guarantee you, you know the fucking owner of the place. You can book a show. So I did. It was like Urban Waste, Step Too Far.
Okay,
yeah, it was a bunch of Reason Enough. Yeah, a bunch of bands. A Breed Apart was the first band on. That's how I met Anthony Russo.
Yep.
But so a couple of shows in, we started getting big giant ideas. And we were like, yo, how about if we do like a fucking block party, but like an outdoor all weekend fucking show, but like crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think John had we just signed a deal with like Metal Blade or something.
Yes, Metal Blade. Yeah,
with Metal Blade Records. So I was like, okay, well, Jeff has the club. John has the record label. He knows a million people. I could promote like crazy. I can get like local bands. But then now what we wanted to do is shut down the whole block, get permits.
I remember this idea.
Yes, get permits, and we were gonna have like Friday night, we were gonna have just a small show inside. Saturday is an all-day fucking insane shit show. We were actually thinking about like, yo, who could we get to headline? Like, wouldn't it be sick if like we had like one of those truck stages and like Obituary like plays in the middle of the street in Brooklyn as the sun's going down.
My goal.
It's like, yeah, but that's what we were thinking, you know. And then Sunday we'll do like a matinee, and then we'll be done. So now we each had a job. Now Jeff, sorry Jeff, I gotta throw you under the bus, but he knows all about it. He was supposed to, because it's his bar. He was in charge of getting in touch with the proper people in order to get the proper permits. Right. But Jeff, I think, had a little bit too much of the bubbly one night.
Bubbly.
And then he tried to call, he missed the deadline for when you're able to file for it. So all these big giant bright ideas, we were thinking about porta potties, this, that, who we gonna have watching the corners so that people don't get it for free and all this whole thing. And we were like, let's start a podcast to promote this giant fucking festival thing that we want to do. So we started doing the podcast, and then that went to the wayside, and we all just like enjoyed bullshitting. And then, bro, I had this podcast, and then it was like, then everyone's schedule got crazy. Jeff was too busy, and then John was too busy. And I was like, then it was me and John for a while after Jeff bowed out. And I was doing it in like, I had like Justin and several people over at John's apartment when it was only audio. And then eventually I think John's last episode was the 50th when we were at the studio in Nova Studios with Sycamore.
Oh, wow.
I think that was his last one. And then from that point on, it's just been me. I had it for 6 full years. I killed it for almost 2. And now I'm back for like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah. Awesome.
350 something episodes later.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane.
We're at 200. Necromaniacs. We weren't always weekly. I burned myself out. And we were other monthly, and now we're weekly now. So we're at 224 episodes.
Yeah. I was burning myself out though. I was leaving work. I was trying to reach out to people, leaving work with my fucking Zoom audio thing, running down, meeting somebody to record, sometimes in super loud places. Like I saw Paul Bearer at Black and Blue. And I was talking with somebody outside. I don't remember who I was talking to. I was like, yeah, I even did a podcast with this guy. We were in a diner right next to the kitchen while he's eating rye toast. And the entire fucking time, all you hear is clanging of silverware and dishes the whole episode. We were sitting in the diner right next to the kitchen where they're just slamming everything.
Wow.
Me and Walter Schreifels with John. We go, Walter decides, we meet up at a juice spot in Williamsburg. We sit and there's a blender going off every 10 seconds as we're talking. So sometimes it was like that, but some people enjoyed that because it was very impromptu, like it wasn't staged. It was like, this is it, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, who cares?
But tonight we have the new setting.
Yeah, I feel like it's like daytime television.
Yes, I'm happy to be another first.
Yes, you're definitely a first. Yeah, first. Yeah, I was like, the only other time it happened with 2 people in here was me and my daughter sitting next to each other on a chair on this computer in the bedroom, right next to each other, looking at the computer. Which me and Mike are going to do that.
Wow.
So this is like the little setup. I don't know. It's whatever. Got a leather face over my shoulder.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we go back a ways. You
We
know,
go back a long time, man. A long time.
hardcore and horror movies. And
Yes. And
Bagel Boy.
And Bagel Boy. And what's a crazy thing is, so I remembered this before and I wanted to bring it up, was there was one night I was probably kind of drunk because I used to drink all the time while I was at work at Bagel Boy. And you had come in, I guess, I'm assuming we had a conversation, and then I had brought you in a couple of VHS bootlegs. Was it like a sick little bootleg?
Sure, yeah,
I
I think so, yeah.
a bunch. And I lent them to you, and I completely forgot. Years go by, and then every once in a while, I'm like, I wonder what the fuck ever happened. I'm pissed off, like, I lose them, whatever. And then Black and Blue Bowl, 2008, at Studio B on Banker Street. Yes, and Lou came out and did Scratch the Surface with me. Yep. Brick by Brick opened with the first singer, with Rich Roberts as the singer. But so I walk in there for doors like I always do. There's only a few people there. And you come walking up to me, and I'm with my ex-wife. She wasn't even my wife yet. My daughter wasn't even born yet. And you handed me my fucking VHS tapes. And I was floored. I was like, holy shit. Like, I know them long gone.
Had them since.
Do you remember giving them
yes,
to me?
Bill Clinton was president.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. I thought they were long gone. I completely forgot that I even gave them to you.
Yep. Yeah.
And I still have them. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go back.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a great day. Terror played. Breakdown.
Madball.
Yeah.
And that's when that was the show where Riggs stepped down from playing drums, and for a short little while, Madball had Mackie play drums.
That's right.
That was at that show.
Wow.
That before Dishonor, maybe?
Yes, and that show is one of, or the only Black and Blue Bowl to be on DVD.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, there was a whole thing for that. Yeah.
Wow. Memories. Yeah, we sold that DVD the following
Here's a
year.
Frustration played.
Yes, fuck yeah. Foot from Low Roads.
Yes.
Yes.
Foot.
We used to play with them all the time in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just want to give this another little
please do.
Confusion discography. Storm the Walls, 1990, 1994. Logo by John LaMacchia, by the way. John drew this logo.
There you go.
In like 92.
Yeah.
It's got like an 8-page booklet inside of it. Check that shit out.
Yeah, go to Generation Records, go grab one.
Records.
There's not many left, are there?
Well, there's a half black, half white. There's about, I don't know, there's like 17 of those left or something like that.
Beautiful.
And then there was 300 made on black vinyl.
Okay.
This is the black vinyl one.
Okay.
But it's, it's a one-time pressing.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's out digitally too. If you're not a vinyl person, it's
Right.
on Spotify and Apple Music and all that shit too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I don't even own a fucking record player.
that's okay.
I don't. Because I like the whole thing because of the nostalgia of the artwork and pulling out and looking at the lyrics.
You'll like the pictures.
Yeah, I love
You'll
that.
recognize a bunch of people.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching Oz and I'm fucking recognizing a lot of people that we know. Like it's fucking crazy. The people in the back. I'm like, how the fuck is this? I didn't realize that these people are in this show. Crazy. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
So, yeah, but this was awesome. And
yeah,
I didn't know how it was gonna go because it's like weird. Like I said, I feel like it's like daytime television. Like
it's okay.
I'm not interviewing anybody. It's just weird.
I think it will have worked out.
Yeah.
And, I think the viewers at home
Yes.
will enjoy.
We'll enjoy a new little atmosphere going on.
All right.
Yes. Cheers. The only thing I will say is because I have to reiterate, the Blast Furnace Instagram is hacked and has been hacked for 4 years. Don't pretend it doesn't even exist. The Instagram for the podcast is also the name of my book. I combined it because I've had it. Simplify, consolidate. Relatively unscathed on Instagram. And there's the Brooklyn Blast Furnace group on Facebook, which has always been. So, come on, it's 2024. I shouldn't have to fucking explain. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing up.
Fuck yeah.
And thank all you kids at home.
See you out there.
Yes, later.